please join us on the bima, on the pulpit. Please take your place. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to the temple. It's great to have real people inside the building, so thank you for being here. It's wonderful to have so many people watching us on YouTube and Facebook, celebrating Shabbat with us, celebrating the wonderful occasion of Benham becoming a bar mitzvah, starting his journey as an adult in the Jewish community. We begin our service as we sing together, Hinei Matov U'Manaim, how good and how pleasant it is to be here together, celebrating Benham's bar mitzvah and celebrating Shabbat.
Hinei Matov U'Manaim, שבת עמים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת עמים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יא לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יא לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, יא לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת עמים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת עמים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת עמים גם יחד.
I want to invite Benham's parents to join him on the bima and to wrap him with the prayer shul, with the talit, as he gets to say his first blessing as a bar mitzvah. Go ahead, Ben.
Turn to the bottom of page 171. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef bat tzitzit.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes.
And we turn now to page 172 to sing together Matovu.
Oh,
turn now to the bottom of page 178 as Benham gets us to lead us with the remaining of the service.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Adonai our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us and to the house of Israel, your people, that we and your children may be lovers of your name and students of your Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of Torah, to our people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah la'amo Yisrael. Elu divarim she'ein lahem shiur. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, and being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Please rise and turn to page 195. Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim eleha berachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita mala ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shavach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha selah. Or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh chulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai yoter ha'me'orot. Please join me. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes. More welcome than gold. A Torah from heaven, I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orot. Turn to page 199. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully, we recall the lawgivers and prophets, psalmists and sages of Israel. And joyfully, we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. You may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vlechtecha b'derech u'shuchbecha uvkumecha. Ukshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein enecha. Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Ma'an tiskaru va'asitam et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates.
Turn to page 203 as we read together. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Please rise and turn to page 205 for the tefila. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei, Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula, Livnei v'Nehem, Lema'an Shmo be'Ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Source of all being, we turn to you as did our people in ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, they sought you in their lives. Their quest is ours. Help us to see the wonder of being. Give us the courage to search for truth. Teach us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring nearer the world we envision, one of justice, freedom, and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. We read together. You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the door frame, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions. Waiting to be posed, they filled me with wonder. Sit with me, Eternal Teacher, encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated.
Turn to page 216 for the blessing for Shalom. O God, may we never become complacent, faltering in our effort to build a world of peace. Let the nations know and understand that justice and right are better than dominion and conquest. May all come to see that it is not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit that life prevails. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
And healing and comfort is on page 253.
Mikor habracha imoros evira imotenu. Mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. Let us say Amen.
And we turn now to page 244 for Seder Kriyat Torah, the order of reading from the Torah on Shabbat. As Jennifer is singing, please very gently start up.
Elohim Adonai, begin kimasecha, malikutecha, malikut kol amim, umemshaltecha mikol dor vador. Adonai melech, Adonai melech, Adonai imnu leolam bo'im. Adonai oz le'amo yitin, Adonai yivarich et amo b'shalom. Adonai yivarich et amo b'shalom.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Our God is one, Adonai is great. Holy is God's name.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai hagidula, v'hagivura, v'hativiri, v'hanitzach, v'hahod. Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz, ki kol bashamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, v'yonit nafsi lifol lirosh.
So, Benham, I'm going to ask you to read the prayer of becoming a bar mitzvah, and after that to turn the microphone towards the Torah so we will hear you chant.
Our God and God of our ancestors, I stand before this sacred assembly, proclaiming that I choose to be a part of the people of Israel, a part of its heritage and its fate, bound by its commandments. Give me the strength to follow your path and to be a source of pride to my family, my community, and my people. How greatly we are blessed, how good is our portion, how pleasant our lot, and how beautiful our heritage. Blessed we are when we sanctify your name and declare, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
And I would like now to invite Carol and Paul and Isaac to for the Aliyot. First Aliyah is Carol and Paul. Benham, can you push the microphone towards you so... Great, thank you.
Ready? Yep. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Erdu mitzrayim acharehem vayasigu otam chonim ahayam kol sus rechev para'o ufarsha bechelo al pi hachiro lifnei ba'al tzifon ufara'o higriv vayis'im b'nei Israel et Enehem v'hinei Mitzrayim nosea acharehem vayir'u me'od vayitzaku b'nei Israel el Adonai vayamru el Moshe hamibli en kivarim v'Mitzrayim lekachtanu lamu bamidbar mazot Asita lanu lahotzianu mi Mitzrayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And Isaac, the blessing before.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Halo zeh hadavar asher dibarnu elecha b'Mitzrayim lemor chadal mimenu v'na'avda et Mitzrayim ki tov lanu avod et Mitzrayim mimutenu bamidbar vayomer Moshe aha'am al tira'u hityatvu or'u et Yeshuat Adonai asher ya'aseh lachem hayom ki asher ritem et Mitzrayim hayom lo tosifu lirotam od adolam Adonai ilachem lachem ve'atem tacharishim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And Benham, now your Aliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, Matitzak Eli, Taber el Bnei Yisrael, V'Yisrael. Ve'ata harim et matecha, unetei et yadecha, aham uvkaehu, ve'yavo Bnei Yisrael. Betoch hayam bayabasha.
And now the English translation, you can follow it. You all have handouts there. Please push back the microphone towards you, Benham.
The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen and troops, pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea near Pi Hachirot, opposite Baal Zephon. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Eternal. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Eternal will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Eternal will fight for you. You need only to be still." Then the Eternal said to Moses, "Why are you crying about me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground."
Blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
וזאת התורה שעשה משה לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל. על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה. על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה. וזאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. Udvara isha nevia eshet lapidot hi shofta et Yisrael ba'et hahi. Vehi yoshevet tachat tomer devora ben harama uvein beit el behar Ephraim vaya'alu eleha b'nei Yisrael lamishpat. Vatishlach vatikra levarak ben Avinam mikadesh Naphtali Vatomer Elav Halo Tziva Adonai Elohei Yisrael Lech umashachta behar tavur velakachta imcha aseret alafim ish mibnei Naphtali umibnei Zevulun. Umashachti elecha el nachal kishon et Sisra sar tzeva yavin ve'et richbo ve'et hamono untatihu beyadecha. Vayomer eleha barak im telchi imi vehalachti ve'im lo telchi imi lo elech. Vatomer haloch elech imach efes ki lo tihye tifartecha al haderech asher ata holech ki veyad isha yimkor Adonai et Sisra vatakam devora vatelech imbarak kedsha.
And you can follow the English translation in the handouts.
Deborah, wife of Lapidot, was a prophetess. She led Israel at that time. She used to sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites would come to her for decisions. She summoned Barak, son of Abinoam, of Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, "The Eternal, the God of Israel, has commanded, go, march up to Mount Tabor, and take with you 10,000 men of Naphtali and Zebulun. And I will draw Sisera, Jabin's army commander, with his chariots and troops, toward you up to the Wadi Kishon, and I will deliver him into your hands." But Barak said to her, "If you will go with me, I will go. If not, I will not go." "Very well, I will go," she answered. "However, there will be no glory for you in the course you are taking, for then the Eternal will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim tzadik, b'chol hadorot ha'el hane'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber umkayem, shekol devaran emet vatzedek. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanviim ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod u'tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Yishar koach, well done. And now it's speech time, Benham.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here, whether it's in person or at home. In my Torah portion, the Israelites have just escaped Egypt and are right at the edge of a sea. The Egyptian army is getting closer and closer to them, but they have nowhere to go. The Israelites are panicking. They are furious at Moses for bringing them out of Egypt. They tell Moses they would have been better off if they stayed under Pharaoh's rule in Egypt. Moses tells the Israelites not to be afraid and to calm down and be still. Moses says that by staying still, God will save them. God then goes to Moses and tells him that he is wrong. If he and the Israelites want to be saved, he must tell the Israelites to move on and then raise his staff and stretch his hand over the sea to divide the water. Then the Israelites can go through on dry ground. I think that there is a lesson that we can get out of this. God says to Moses, "Why are you crying about me? Tell the Israelites to move on." God is telling Moses that if they really want to escape the Egyptians, then they have got to try to escape them. If they want to escape them, then they need to do something about it, and not just sit there and wait for God to do it. What I get out of this is that you shouldn't rely on other people to get what you want or need. It's important to do for yourself the things that you can do, and you need to do those things that you can do for yourself so that nobody else has to carry your load. When my grandfather was a child, his family was extremely poor, and he and his brother had to begin working at a young age. Despite this, he was able to stay on his feet and eventually join the Marine Corps. He went on to co-found Humana. This is a great example of going for what you want without relying on other people to do it for you. For my mitzvah project, I wanted to help homeless people in Louisville. I went to stores and bought different items such as toothbrushes, gloves, and socks and donated them to Street Reach. They distribute all sorts of items such as the ones I donated to homeless people in Louisville that aren't in homeless shelters. I wanted to donate things like socks and gloves and coats so that people can stay warm during the winter. I also donated toothbrushes and hand sanitizer so people can stay as clean as possible. For my thank yous, I'd first like to thank my mother and father for raising me as an active member in our Jewish community and for urging me to explore my religion. I would also like to thank my father for always coming to my class on high holidays and reading books about each one and what they meant. For my mother, I would like to thank her for always preparing our Shabbats and making them fun and meaningful. Next, I would like to thank Carly for preparing me for my bar mitzvah because I would not be able to read my Torah portion or Haftarah or anything else without her help. I would also like to thank Rabbi for helping me prepare for my bar mitzvah and my speech. I want to thank all my relatives on my dad's side on my mom's side for accepting our religion even though they belong to a different one. And I would like to thank the relatives on my dad's side for always celebrating the high holidays with us every year. I want to thank all of my friends from Hebrew school for making it fun and enjoyable. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you for being here. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Benham, and I would like to invite now your parents, Paul and Carol. Paul is the first speaker, and then Carol. Please.
I'm reading this. No, just stand here. Mazel Tov, Benham. In this week's Torah portion, the Hebrews escaped Egypt and head out towards the Promised Land. However, instead of taking the shortest route, God led them on a longer path where they encounter many obstacles. It seems as though the Hebrews had some lessons to learn before they could live as free people. They had to learn to have faith that God would take care of them, which they learned at the parting of the Red Sea. They had to learn that faith alone was not enough. They had to take action on their own behalf, as you said, which they learned when they encountered and fought the Amalekites. And they had to learn to interpret facts for themselves rather than to blindly accept others' interpretations of the facts, which they learned from their experience with the spies who scouted out the land prior to conquering it. In the Talmud, there's a story about Rabbi Yoshua ben Hananiah. In the story, he approached a fork in the road on his way to town, and he did not know which way to go. A boy was there, so the rabbi asked him, "Which is the way to town?" The boy pointed one way and said, "This way is short, but long. The other way is long, but short." So Yoshua ben Hananiah took the first path and got to the edge of town quickly, only to find groves and gardens in his way. He could not enter from this direction. He returned to the boy and said, "Didn't you tell me that this path was short?" The boy responded, "I did, but I also warned you that it was long." I believe God has a plan for all of us, but there are no shortcuts along the way to figuring out what his plan is for us. We have to encounter difficulties in order to learn and to grow and to be prepared for how we can be of service to God and to humankind. Benham, you've had some difficulties. Adapting to a learning difference, and ADHD and non-traditional instruction all at once. Being cut from the basketball team, parents divorcing, and 2 grandparents passing within a few weeks of one another, to name a few. You could hang your head and say, "Oh, poor, pitiful me, why do these things have to happen to me?" Or you could look up like the Hebrews looked up when fighting the Amalekites and have faith that God is teaching you something important, and ask yourself, what can I learn from these experiences, and how can I use that wisdom to help others? In a way, I know you already know this lesson about there being no shortcuts in life. In fact, you've known it for a while. Many years ago, we were at the skate park downtown. You were trying to teach yourself to drop into a bowl on your skateboard. You were hesitant at first, of course, because it was scary. A nice older boy came up to you and offered to hold on to you while you dropped in so you would not fall. You thanked him, then you told him that you would prefer to do it on your own, otherwise you would not learn how to do it. Naturally, you fell many times as you were learning, and then finally, you did not. You dropped into the bowl and stayed up. You were so happy and so proud, and deservedly so. Benham, I don't know what God's plan is for you. That's for you to discover. Having said that, my hope for you is that you maintain this attitude of healthy risk-taking and that you always look to God when you run into hardships so you can use these experiences to add to your already considerable wisdom. Finally, I want to say to you the same thing I said to your brother on his bar mitzvah. I trust you to make well-informed decisions and to learn from your mistakes. Congratulations on your bar mitzvah. I love you very much.
You're just getting all sorts of wisdom today, Benham, I want to start with a poem that my dad taught me called Advice to Travelers by Walker Gibson. It goes like this. A Berlow once sent by express, his shipping ticket on his bridle, ate up his name and his address, and in some warehouse, standing idle, he waited till he liked to die. The moral hardly needs the showing. Don't keep things locked up deep inside. Say who you are and where you're going. I'm proud of you for working so diligently for this day, and happy for you for having chosen Judaism as a way of life, which you've done in becoming a bar mitzvah. In your portion, the Torah tells us that the Israelites were decrying their flight to the desert, fearing that they would die there, and Moses responded by telling them, "Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Eternal will bring you today." ... The Torah tells us in verse 15 that God commanded Moses to stop crying out and start moving, to raise his staff and stretch out his hand over the sea and divide it. The portion calls us to stand firm in our faith and who we are and what we're doing. And when things look doubtful, instead of complaining, we should take the next step before us, do the work at hand, and my dad might say, remember the humble Berlow. Which brings me back to standing firm. As you go on from here, stand firm in your values, in your work ethic, in your joy, in your faith tradition, in your own humanity, and on all of the million tiny things that make you Benham Ashbury Levitch, who we love. Stand firm in who you are and where you're going, and you will reach the other side. Your family and friends who sit before you and the many who are streaming this service, we love you. We surround you today to support you, to cheer you on, to witness you as you were called to the Torah. We're your fan club, your safety net. We will not only love you, we will help you. We will challenge you, play with you, and sometimes drive you nuts. And when difficult times come, when you are unsure of where you're going, or you must part your own seas, trust in the knowledge of who you are, in the beauty, the strength, the goodness deep inside you, and in the traditions of your faith. Knowledge of and trust in these things will guide you, and your friends and family will be here to encourage you to stand firm. So today, on this day, and in your days ahead, know who you are and where you're going.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone that is here, everyone that is watching us on YouTube, on Facebook. You know, one of the issues with the COVID-19 style bar or bat mitzvah is that you cannot see the faces of the people. Definitely, Benham, you couldn't see the people that were watching you on YouTube or Facebook. People were watching you from all over Kentucky, I'm sure all over America, and I know of a few friends of your mom that were watching you from Jerusalem, Israel. So you have a very big fan club. But I can tell you something that you could see in the eyes of the people here, and I'm sure in the eyes of everyone there, and maybe on the chat, if people put some words on the chat. Everyone was kveling. Kveling means they were looking at you with pride and joy, and as your mother said, with love. And the reason for that is you just did an amazing job.
Thank
You
you.
didn't have even one mistake in the Hebrew. When you chanted the Torah and you didn't have the vowels nor the tropes, everything was just perfect. Not only that you have a really nice voice, but also you didn't miss any vowel, you didn't miss any dot, and you didn't miss any trope. I wish I could say it about myself when I read from the Torah, because I don't do such a great job. So really well done, and thank you for doing such a beautiful job leading the congregation in chanting Torah, reading Haftarah, leading the blessings, and teaching us what you taught us about what you learned from your Torah portion. I want to thank you also on what I've learned for you when we were Zooming and working on your speech. You have this quality, which hopefully will stay with you, that when I would ask you a question or ask you to say something about the Torah portion or the meaning of the bar mitzvah for you or the beautiful mitzvah project you are doing, you would take a minute and think before you would answer. That's unusual with people your age. Everyone is very quick, especially in our world with texting and chatting and Facebook and Snapchat and all those things. And you take your time, you think about it, and later on you say words that show wisdom that is rare from your age and maturity, and you show something very sincere and very deep that is in you. So from the little that I know you, I want to wish you and pray for you for two things that might sound contradicting. I wish for you to not change, and I obviously also wish for you to change. Now, the changing part is easy. Everybody wants you to change. Everybody wants you to grow, to graduate from high school, to go to a college, to find your vocation in life, to find your place in life. And just like the role models that you mentioned in your family, to be a productive citizen of your society, your community, your world, the Jewish community, hopefully our congregation, if we are fortunate enough to have you here as an adult, and to be a contributing member of society. But at the same time, I pray and wish for you even harder that you won't change, that the essence of who is Benham, that the qualities that you have, that, you know, there's a word in Hebrew that is very hard to translate. It's called yoshra. Yashar means to be straight. It's also part of the name of Israel, which means to be yashar, honest and straight with Adonai, and it's a very rare quality. I don't think that in the entire United States or the world you would find one politician with that quality, for example, but you have that quality. So probably politics is not the place for you to go, but every other profession, or maybe you should become a politician because we need honest and straight politician. But I really wish that deep thinking of everything before you do or say something, and that sincerity and that honesty and that sense of truthfulness will stay with you as you grow. And the other pray and wish that I have for you has to do with your name. Your Hebrew name is Ben Chaim, which literally means the son of life. Your parents gave it to you, and I hope and pray for you that their wishes for you when they gave you that name will be fulfilled in your life. Because what it means, it's not only wishing you to have a long and happy life, it's wishing you to embrace life, and it's wishing you to make the best that you can of being honest with yourself, true to yourself, and at the same time taking life and enjoying it and succeeding in it. So I hope and pray that all those things will be happening in your life. And I want to say to you the blessing that we call the priestly benediction. It's a blessing that in the book of Numbers, Adonai, our God, is saying to Moses and Aaron to always bless our children with that blessing. And it goes like that. Yevarchecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May Adonai our God always guard you and keep you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha ve'yechuneka. May God's face always shine towards you, and may God always deal graciously with you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May God always be present in your life, and may God grant you the most important blessing of all, the blessing of shalom, of wellness and wholeness and peace. And let us say Amen. And in the left side of the bottom here, you have some gifts there. So I cannot hand them to you, but you can take them out so you won't forget to take them. There's an appreciation chai, which is a shortcut to your name, appreciating the mitzvah project that you took upon yourself to do. And there are some certificates, and there is a Hebrew Bible, so you can continue to learn and to teach from it. Mazal Tov, and Jennifer and Louie would like to sing for you, Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol
thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember especially Marian Morgulan, John A. D'Angelo, Loni Nafusi, Ronya Talis, Aaron Carl, Rosalind Gendel, Mildred Falk, Evelyn Weiss, Boris Elkin, Fayette Linker, Abraham Penner, Zelda Marks, Alfred Berg, Adrian Bayer, George Berry, Hannah Neoff, Jean Martin, Clarice Gradman, Gloria Preminger, Harry Wolf, Gilbert Levy, George Herman, Stuart Mann, Ruth Siegel, Raymond Sells, David D.A. Zaks Jr., M. J. Goldstein, Henry Temas, Harold Rosen, Sadie Katz, Benjamin Rubin, and in recent days, Nelia Kaskina, Susan Marks, Henry P. Sis. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. With the blessed memories from our loved ones in our hearts, we rise as we turn to page 294 to say together the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה, מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה על שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה, may the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction to us all. Amen. Our closing song is Od Yavo Shalom. We ask God to bring peace and wholeness to all humanity.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kulam. Salam Aleinu v'al kol ha'olam, Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu v'al kol ha'olam, Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu v'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu v'al kulam. Salam Aleinu v'al kol ha'olam, Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu v'al kol ha'olam, יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם.
יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אמותינו, שתוליכנו לשלום. May it be your will, Adonai our God and God of our ancestors, that we all be always guided on the paths of shalom, of wholeness and wellness and peace, and that Adonai, you will protect us from all evil and harm on our journey. Bless the work of our hands, and may we always grant grace and loving kindness and compassion in your eyes, in the eyes of everyone who sees us. Adonai Shalom, bless us with a Shabbat of Shalom. Shalom to our bodies, to our souls, to our minds. Shabbat Shalom and Mazal Tov Benham. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank
Mazel
you.
tov.
Thank you.